Hi everyone, welcome to another weekend reading vlog. And I haven't done one of these in a long time. I've done many themed reading vlogs, but I haven't done just a simple weekend reading vlog for no apparent reason. So I've decided to do this because I haven't been reading for the past week or so. In fact, last week's reading was also kinda not that great. But so this weekend's aim is honestly to read a little bit more. And also because this weekend will be the last weekend before I go to Japan on Wednesday, as well as end my very first job, which is kind of sentimental, kind of scary, but I think I'm really excited for the new opportunities that will be in front of me. I'm more scared than excited, truly, but I, I'm trying to take it as a good thing. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to see positively into my future, and so I'm really trying to vlog the experience of the last weekend and the last 2 days of my job, and just be like free. So I am in the middle of a lot of books. Because what's new with me? I'm currently reading Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson, wasn't it? Yes, Steven Erikson. And I'm also reading the third part to The Lord of the Rings, which is The Return of the King, which I'm taking it slow and enjoying it a lot. And I'm also reading The Queen of the Tearling for my SFF tackle down. Yeah, and I'm also reading Yellowface. So how did this happen? I'm reading 4 books at once. So I'm trying to put some focus onto Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson, because this is from the library and the copy is going to be returned in 3 to 4 days time, and people are waiting for this copy, and I'm like, shucks. I know I can finish it, but I just want to get into it as much as I can before I have to return it and put it on hold again and get it back from the library. So yeah, that's that. But honestly, with this vlog, the main focus would just be to just like see the weekend in my life, rather than to be the focus of reading lots and talking about the books, because all of these have their own themed reading vlogs, except for Queen of Tearling and Yellowface. So let's just stay productive, and I'll catch you guys later on. Hi, good morning. Oh, hi everyone. Good morning. Want to give you guys some updates about life? No. Yeah, actually, yes. I want to give you some updates about life and what I did yesterday. As you can see, I watched some shows, and one of it is actually Supernatural. I watched about I think 4 episodes with my mom. You know, Supernatural is like one of my most favorite TV shows when I was younger, and explains a lot because I was a person that's very scared, but Supernatural was one of the only things that I could watch that didn't scare the living daylights out of me. And so I was watching that with my mom and really feeling very nostalgic and very happy watching that. And yeah, and because of that, you know, yeah, and that was pretty much it. But the other thing I watched is the thing that I actually want to talk to you guys about. which is an anime movie called Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms or something. It's a very long name. I can't exactly remember what the name is, but essentially the story is about Maquia, who is an immortal being. So she lives in a nation that are all essentially mortal, and they have the skills of being able to weave a certain type of cloth, and this cloth can fetch a huge amount of price. Why? Not too sure. It's just that the technique is very unique, and only they know how to do it. And it's like an ancient technique where they can weave feelings and emotions and messages into the cloth. Other humans can't read it. Not too sure why it's then priced so highly, but I guess the workmanship is so great because of that. And so they are a very special race of immortal beings, and that's actually what's more important. And eventually, the king of a neighboring nation captures them to, because they are special, and wants to use them to gain some level of immortality. Not too sure how that works, but it's not very clear in the first place. Therefore, I'm not really too sure because it's insinuated, never truly answered. And I think, it's a story that's supposed to examine a life of someone who's immortal, who lives a life that way longer than the regular human years. And Maquia, our main character, comes across a human baby and ends up taking care of him. And so ensues their relationship as a human and an immortal being, which is kind of difficult because, Ariel, the baby, he lives a mortal life and lived mortal years. And so compared to her, he's gonna be gone really, really soon. And he ages way faster than she does. And so they live a very complex relationship and they have a very complex life with each other because of that reason. Where they live in a human world and, they have to face the issues of being a mother and son duo, but not really looking like a mother and son duo by a certain age when, Ariel reaches that. And to be frank, I thought that this movie was going to be so beautiful because of that reason. And it really is. And the graphics, in terms of the animation, it's so beautifully done. It really is so beautiful. And I think they use CGI really well. But I think I'm not the kind of person who really cares too much about an art style excessively if the story is lacking. And not that the story was necessarily lacking, but it was really ambitious. For the plot, for what it is, I thought it would be a little bit simpler and we'll be focused more on Maquia and Ariel and their relationship and their growing struggles together and what it means to love someone, what it means to be a mother. For Maquia, she doesn't even have parental figures and she's never been a mother before and she's never been in a romantic relationship. So I thought it would be very important for her as a character be going through these ideas of love and figuring out what is love truly about. And they did not really do that. And the movie tried to do a lot about the politics between this country that essentially invaded them and the politics of that and how they are really big tyrants. And they tried to do a lot about the politics. They try to talk about other characters that were also like Maquia, and they try to include a perspective that is just extremely shallow because they didn't want to delve too in-depthly into it, and therefore we didn't get much of anything, and yet we got something, and then it takes away from Maquia's story and it doesn't give these other characters any insight into their character stories as well. And so I thought, and I felt like the movie was a bit ambitious with what it wanted to do for the fact that it's only about 2 hours. Yes, I mean, it's pretty long. And yet with that length, they couldn't do something and they couldn't really illustrate the emotions that are needed to be illustrated. in the movie. And I just felt like, okay, this could be done way better. I'm pretty sure we could have done more with it. And I liked it. I'm probably giving it like a 3.5 stars in terms of that. But other than that, I just feel like it's completely lacking in that aspect. I do encourage you guys to watch it because I feel like it gave me an experience quite unlike any other, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about the effects, about what the movie is trying to say, even as imperfect as it is. I think in that sense, it has struck the chord of my heart, and in soul for them, it must be a successful outcome they want from the audience, which is me thinking about the movie way past me watching that. And yeah, I'm still thinking about it. It's still on my mind. I'm still thinking about Maquia. I'm still thinking about Erika. I'm still thinking about what it means to love someone. I'm still thinking about all those things. And yeah, so I do encourage you guys to watch it. I think it's really beautiful, and it's worth watching. Truly, it is. As in, I feel like you guys would gain something out of watching this, and it's worth trying it out. It's been so long since I did a weekend reading vlog, just talking about my life, just talking about things, and I decided that I really wanted to vlog this last weekend before work ends for me on Tuesday, and this will be the very first job that I have and the very first job that I'll be ending, and it's exciting, like I said, and terrifying at the same time. So, I'm fighting those emotions. Truly, I'm feeling very stressed about the job hunting aspect, and I think you guys can relate to it. Whoever does the job hunting stuff, you guys can relate the misery of doing that. For this very first job, I was actually bonded to the organization as a student. Therefore, I didn't need to go through a actual job hunting aspect in my life yet, and this is why I'm kind of freaking out, because technically this will be the first time I'm truly job hunting. The last time round was just me getting interviewed to sign the papers, to get bonded with them. So the moment that I complete school, I was to work with them. And so I didn't need to go through the process of looking for a job. That's what it means. And so this is the first time I'm actually looking for a job, and I'm kind of terrified because I think I don't know what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to stay calm about the process, and I'm trying to be open to a lot of the opportunities that I see, and not be too picky with my choices, but at the same time, just meet the basic criteria that I want for a job. And job hunting really is truly not easy, and I see that now, and especially in this economy, getting a job, it's not the best, but it works. It works. There is jobs out there. You just have to not be picky and take it up as whether is it opportunity to learn or whatsoever. Yeah. But truly, I just want to talk about my emotions of leaving my job. I think in my previous vlogs at the very start of starting this channel, I talked a lot about the fact that I wanted to leave the nursing industry. So I'm a nurse, working in a public hospital, and I really want to leave the industry of nursing because of how terrible it is. It's just an occupation that is not rewarded well, and I think everyone knows that across the entirety of this world, that nurses are just not appreciated for what they do, and with the kind of salary that we get for what we do, it's truly not worth it. And I really love being a nurse. That's the thing. I really do love taking care of patients. I find joy in taking care of them. And in my aspect, which is palliative nursing, I really do. I do really find the importance in my job. I really see that, and I see that it's not like I'm questioning my job and thinking, oh, is this really worth doing? Do people really care about this? In my heart, I know that this is an important job to have, and I find fulfillment in it. And yet it's truly all the other things that are stopping me from wanting to continue on with this profession. And I'm still contemplating on whether I'm making the right choice. I think nobody truly knows if they make the right choices at all. You just gotta go with it and hope for the best, sort of. And I mean, the only thing that's reassuring me right now is that if I ever want to return to be a nurse, and if I find that whatever I'm doing next is not up to the standards of how I portrayed it to be, and it's just not anything that I wanted it to be, then I can still go back to nursing. It's not something that I can let go of. I need to let go of completely. And it's an industry that will always be looking for people to be in. And in this time, I can still choose to be a nurse again. And I don't have to be afraid to step outside my boundaries to try and explore the world beyond me. And that's what I'm trying to reassure myself about. And if for anyone who is going through the same dilemma as I am, and who needs reassurance that things will be okay, I'm not the example of that yet, but I'm just telling you, you got this. It will be okay, but you gotta put in the effort to try. You gotta not let yourselves fear the possibility of being rejected, and that you should just go forth and do it. Just go forth and try. The worst that happens is rejection. Does it affect you in any other sense of the way other than your pride? No, technically it doesn't. So you just gotta go for it, not fear. Whether is it a company that you are like you really want to work for, but you feel like your qualifications aren't gonna be there, just apply, because at most they just reject you, right?
I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you have the chance and you have the privilege to chase your dreams, do so. Do not let your fear of rejection stop you from potentially getting what you want.
Stars, was it shoot for the moon and land on the stars? I can't recall. Was it shoot for the stars and land on the moon? Whatever. You know the code. Yeah, so the thing about leaving my current company is that it's very nostalgic. A lot of my experiences are here, and as a student I also worked here, and I think I built a lot of memories as well. As much as I love the people that I was working with, the organization also has its own issues. But what organizations doesn't have their own issues? So I'm kind of just closing two eyes with that aspect. Anyways, but yeah, I'm feeling very nostalgic, and I kind of miss my co-workers a lot. I'm just thinking about that, missing my co-workers tremendously, and it's not like I can't keep in touch with them. I'm just saying, but anyway, the truth is also part of why I wanted to leave is because a lot of my co-workers have left. A lot of my seniors who were guiding me had left the hospital as well, and they have moved on to other opportunities in life. And I felt like the environment was no longer the same, although the current environment is also okay. But it's just not quite the same. I don't feel like I was quite looked up for. I don't feel those things. And I don't think it's a must in an organization to have those things where they look out for you and whatsoever. I'm just saying that I care about those things, and not having my seniors there anymore does affect a lot of things. And I think other people can, I think you guys can understand, right? When a work environment changes and your work besties are gone, you just don't want to work anymore. It doesn't feel the same, even if someone comes in and they're just as competent and they're okay, but it's not the same. And the truth is, the work environment will always suffer from this aspect because, people always change jobs. Your work bestie has a life to lead, and they wouldn't stay because they want to be work besties with you. But yeah, it is depressing as hell. For them to not be there. Yeah. So that's pretty much all my emotions about everything. Maybe it's time to talk about what I've read so far. So yesterday I think I read about 100 pages of Malazan Book of Fallen. Truth is, Malazan is about 1,000 pages on the Kobo, which is the ebook version. 1,050 pages. So me reading 100 pages, which I'm actually already around the third or fourth chapter. Actually, I can't tell you what's happening. But I'm enjoying my time, and I actually bought the box set yesterday because on Amazon 2 days ago it was like 232 SGD, and it dropped to 164 SGD today, and I bought it because I had like Amazon vouchers to use anyway. and I think best decision I've ever made. So yeah, I'm hoping to read a little more today. I'll show you guys my life. Again, today I'm not really doing much, so should be reading. It should be like enjoying food. We're going to Hot Pot, everybody's favorite, the nationwide's favorite, aka also the worldwide favorite, Hai Di Lao. So my family does love Hai Di Lao, but they really are very expensive. But we don't want to clean up, and we want their soupy soups, and that's why we're going to Hai Di Lao as a celebration for me also ending my current job, which has given me a lot of misery for a really long time, and I'm finally letting go of that, and I'm grateful and thankful for the opportunities to grow. I'm thankful that my family's supporting me, and I'm thankful for my partner and my friends who are also supporting my decision in life, and no one is truly looking at me and thinking that I'm wasting my life away trying to figure out what I want to do. And suddenly feel like crying. Well, okay. Yeah, that's about it. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll read more matters then. Oh, yeah. Okay, bye. I'm here for an update on actually Yellowface, which I've just finished today at work, actually. As you can see, I was very excited because I went for my exit interview, and it really cemented the idea of the fact that I'm really quitting, and I feel the freedom and also the freedom of unemployment. Yeah. Funny but not funny. Yes. Yes, but tomorrow night actually I'll be going to Japan, which is very exciting for me, and I keep thinking about that. But let's not stray away too far from the topic, which is that I finished Yellowface, and let's do my skincare as we talk about it. So I'm sure you guys know what Yellowface by Erika Kuang is, which is essentially about this a white author who steals her best friend's work, who is a Chinese girl, and she steals her work, which is about um, Chinese history or the Chinese laborers in World War I. And that is clearly really controversial because, first of all, she's white, writing and being ambiguous with the fact that she is not white and uses her middle name Song as a surname so that people don't feel like she is, people assume that she is a woman of color, a Chinese woman writing about a story that would hit her in the right ways. And I've seen this book circulate a lot, and I am a R.F. Kuang fan. So, of course, I needed to pick it up. I just didn't know when I exactly wanted to pick it up. And the thing is, I haven't seen a lot of reviews per se about this topic, maybe because I was kind of avoiding it. I was avoiding it because I wanted to form my own opinion about this story, and I think this story was exactly what I wanted from Ari Kwang, and I hope it's the direction she takes because she knows how to create conversations that are controversial but very important to have. And I'm not saying that this kind of thing happens in real life, but it really made me question a lot about race, a lot about culture, a lot about what we can and cannot say about a race that's different from ours. And I thought it was a very important conversation to have. And a lot of people, I recall when I heard the reviews about this, is the fact that they all talk about how Juniper, the main character, the white lady, is essentially nuts and like trying to convince the reader that she's unreliable, and the fact that she kept on trying to convince the reader that she is just trying to do good, which is to bring light to her dead friend's manuscript so that this story will never die with her. It will continue to live on beyond her grave. And I was not convinced, obviously. I don't think most people are convinced by her nonsense. But I wanted to say this too, is that the friend that she steals the story from, she isn't a saint either. I just want to point that out because I don't see a lot of people talking about that, and they were mostly talking about Juniper. And I thought it was important to actually talk about the other characters that were present in this, and they were all just horrible people. They were just people doing horrible things. You're seeing the true horrible sides of their human selves. And I just thought that that was a brilliant, brilliant narrative that R.F. Kuang has painted for us. To see the true nature of human beings, even when we are supposedly doing good things, are those good things fueled by our own selfish needs? Which in this case seems to be that. And we see the duality of a human personality where we can be both good and bad at the same time, and therefore we are never truly just one thing or the other. And no matter how much people feel like they know about someone via the internet, they never truly know the story that goes on behind the scenes. And people love to make assumptions, as you can see in the book, because of like all the Twitter threads. Twitter was very prevalent in the story, and I think it makes sense for R.F. Kuang because she's a big Twitter user. She loves Twitter. I'm not sure if she loves Twitter, but she uses Twitter very, very often, and it's actually where I found the Poppy War when it first came out, and before it reached its stardom and fame. Yeah, and yeah, I really appreciate the conversations that she brought up in the story. Without spoiling too much, that was essentially it. It is very different from her debut, and I'm not sure of how different it is from Babel because I did not read Babel yet. I'm putting off that because I'm not a fan of Dark Academia, but I'm a gigantic fan of R.F. Kuang's work, and I love her prose, and therefore I feel like she can literally do me no wrong. And so when she came up with Yellowface, I felt that was exactly the type of book that I would love to see from her, and she truly delivered on that front for me. And I really enjoyed that very much. So I'm trying to still form my thoughts about this, but when I was reading it, it did bring up a lot of conversations that I was having with myself, especially with the idea of someone else representing my culture, let's just say a white woman choosing to represent a Singaporean culture. What would she know about a Chinese Singaporean, let's just say? Because in Singapore, there's so many types of Singaporeans, whether is it being a Malay Singaporean or a Indian Singaporean, we all have our different cultural needs, even if we all share the same nationality. And so we all share the same nationality, but we all come from different races and cultures, and that builds us, and yet we have a shared history of living in this island together. And most of us grow up to be this a Singaporean. And anyway, my point is, what does it say if a white woman who is American chooses to talk about a story of being a Singaporean Chinese or Singaporean Indian or Singaporean Malay? How would I feel about that? How would I feel about the representation? Would I also scream at her and say, like, why would you choose to write about a group of people that you don't understand? Even with all the research that you do, you still don't know the connotations of, being Singaporean Chinese. And I did think about that a lot, and it feels a little bit gatekeepy with the culture and the representation, but I get that because own voices matter. Own voices portrays a more accurate representation of that group of people, even if everybody has a more individualistic experience, of life. And not one Chinese Singaporean is going to be the same as another Chinese Singaporean. Everybody's life is led a little bit differently, and yet we all share similar memories because of the way we are brought up. And that's what I feel as well. But if that is what I feel, is that me trying to gatekeep someone else from writing a story that could be set in this instance? I don't struggle with that because, June the whole time was fighting the fact that, she put in a lot of effort to writing this story that was essentially Athena's, which is her Chinese friend's story, which is Athena's, but she did put in a lot of effort and she did write most of the book as well. And I do agree on the standpoint that half of it was actually hers, but she just needed to acknowledge that Athena also did write the book, and she wouldn't be so, morally upset with herself for like a few months or up to a year. Yeah. And, what else did she talk about? Let me think. I remember what I wanted to say. The one characteristic that I enjoyed, enjoy is probably not the right word to use, but R.F. Kuang
did do a thing to June that I really liked, which was the fact that actually June, for the fact that she's screaming and talking about Asian culture so much, especially like Chinese, but in America seems to be all mixed into one, which is ridiculous. We see that June is actually someone who doesn't even care or really enjoy finding out about the Chinese culture. It's just that because she wanted to write her book, and so she just crafted this whole idea of her being like into Korean, K-pop, or the fact that she likes boba and trying out Chinese food, which she actually hates. And I love the characteristic of her because it just makes her more hateable, and it makes you want to punch her face because you're thinking to yourself like, bitch, for the fact that you're milking the community that is Asian and is giving you so much like fame and wealth. Now, honestly, how could you even? It's so irritating. I don't know if anyone was even fooled by June into like saying like, yeah, I agree with you're just trying your best, and you are just you're trying your best and you just want to succeed in life, and marginalized stories now are more popular and you're just trying to create a name for yourself. I don't freaking agree with her like at all. I think she's such a hypocrite, and I'm not sold by her by her excuses at all. I don't know if anyone else has been sold by her explanations, but I'm definitely one of those people that just calls out on her bullshit and definitely sees that. I mean, even at some point, I think this is a spoiler, so I'm just gonna put it up here that this is a spoiler. So once this is gone, you guys can come back to the video or just not watch this part. Yeah, anyway, there's one part where she's fighting a character, and essentially she was screaming about the fact that Asians have it so much better. We have better stories. We have stories that the people want. We are literally the thing that everyone is looking out for. And the thing is, her view can never be more skewed than that. As a white woman with so much privilege, I mean, yes, a white woman which is secondary to a white man, but still, as a white woman with so much privilege in life, she had the audacity to say that Asians have it better in America, especially. So I was really appalled by her. That I mean, she's just a horrible person. But like I said, so was Athena. Athena was horrible. I think in her own way, she took people's trauma porn and just like made it into stories, which I think is wrong of her to do as well. I mean, I get that authors need to write from their experiences in life, but to take someone else's trauma, aka June's rape trauma, into account, I think that was incredibly not fair for her to do, and it was incredibly rude as a friend to do that, if you can ever call yourself a friend for doing that. In any case, that's all my thoughts for Yellowface. I enjoyed it thoroughly, as you can see. I'm still thinking about it, and therefore I haven't come to a star rating yet, because this book made me incredibly uncomfortable, and I like to give 5 stars to books that make me feel great, but that's exactly why I'm taking the time to think about what I want to rate this book and how to write out my thoughts, because I think it's just very provoking. And I just think that it's a really thoughtfully written book, and I really did enjoy my time reading it. It really did make me think and examine life a little bit differently. It made me question the norms that are set out in life and to question the boundaries that we have set up for ourselves. Yeah, so that's literally the update. I hope to check in with you guys again tomorrow before I go off my trip and to really document the last day that I have at work, which is, I mean, as you can see, I'm excessively happy about. I think that's troubling, isn't it? Because what does that mean about my workplace to make me look this happy to be escaping? Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next update.
Like you were saying, you are
Hey everyone, I'm back from my trip to Japan, and the truth is, I forgot and I didn't have enough time to end the vlog for this weekend vlog. So I'm ending it now, finally having the time to film. I just want to get my nails done, and I finally stopped having red hands, and now they look like human hands with really natural looking nails that are short because of I just want to manage short nails for now because I don't know how to manage anything longer than just a little bit past my fingertip. I just wanted something natural looking as I do job searches and interviews. Yeah, kind of stressing out about that, but then what is life without stress? Am I right? I'm gonna do my best with that, and that's not why you're here, and that's why not what you're interested for. I have not read a lot during my trip. In fact, I was putting a lot of attention onto Gardens of the Moon, but I didn't have much time to read, but I'm technically already 40% in if I'm not wrong. And yet I've not made extreme progress with it. As you know, the Medicine Book of the Fallen series by Steven Erikson is incredibly confusing and long, and most of the time you won't know what's going on. And right now I'm just getting the very basic build up of the story, and that's like 400 pages in. So I'm actually enjoying how it is because of the dynamics of the story, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm just letting myself flow with the story. It's like a river. I'm just jumping in, and I'm just letting the currents take me wherever it goes. So yeah, that's with that. And so for this vlog, I technically only finished one book, which was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Had an enjoyable time with that. I wouldn't say much better than I expected, but as good as I expected it to be from R.F. Kuang, who is one of my favorite authors. And I read about almost now 40% of Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. I do plan to finish up The Queen of the Tearling, which I'm reading for a different video. So yeah, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I will upload part of my Japan vlog very soon, and that will come together with me finishing Malazan and having some thoughts about that. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!